Hi, good morning. It is Friday, August 22nd. So, our astrology for the 22nd through the 24th is very interesting because we are closing some things out and starting new in other places. So, today on Friday, the sun is still in Leo. It's at 29 degrees of Leo until I had to write it down because there's a lot going on. 2:34 p.m. Mountain Time. And then it will move into Virgo. Now, when it moves into Virgo, it makes an inconjunct to Saturn, and Saturn and Neptune are in a conjunction with each other, so they're working as one entity. So an inconjunct is like a fork in the road, changing directions, okay? This is where we have that, where other people are trying to tell you how to act and how to behave and who you're supposed to be, and using manipulative tactics to do that and things like that, telling you where you need to make a shift, right? We really need to make sure that those boundaries are good and strong this weekend with these aspects that are happening. So where are you going to start fresh in your plans and how you are serving others, helping others, taking care of others? How are you going to make a shift there? Are you going to just kind of let people go? Are you going to change the way that you're helping them? We're also need to be listening to our intuition here really well as well. So once the sun moves into Virgo this afternoon, it's going to be in mutual reception with Mercury in Leo, and we're in those last couple of days of the Mercury post retrograde shadow period. So we're closing that retrograde cycle out. Where were people silencing you? Where were they dimming your shine? Where were they telling you how to show up in the world? And how can you have better boundaries around that? And starting fresh with that. The moon is in Leo. It's void in Leo all day. It doesn't move into Virgo until 11:24 tonight. And then at 12:07 a.m., the new moon at 0 degrees of Virgo is exact. Number one, be very careful tonight, especially if you're out having a good time and partying. No driving impaired. That could be a lot of accidents on the road tonight. So just really be careful with that. But there's also a lot of information that's going to be coming out over this weekend. So where are you starting fresh with this new moon when it comes to taking care of yourself, taking care of other people? Your health might be something that you take into account when it comes to how you're going to approach things. You could even be thinking about, taking personal responsibility for your physical health here and doing better and at taking care of yourself and your health. But also in what are your plans moving forward? What new plans are you going to set up? But we got to be careful here. We don't want to get too stuck in those plans. Remember, the South Node is in Virgo, so we want to make sure we're not too attached to any plans. And we are entering eclipse season as well. The next full moon is actually a lunar eclipse. So really think about that as you're making these plans. Where can you make plans, but give room for those plans to change as things progress and change in the world around us? So we also are in the last couple of days of Venus in Cancer. So this is actually really cool. Nice, warm energy, fun, loving, emotional, nurturing kind of energy happening here. Absolutely take the time to enjoy that this weekend. We have so much stuff going on in the world around us. Make sure that you're taking that time to enjoy your friends, your family, and things like that. Now, the sun is going to make an inconjunct to Pluto and to a square to Uranus on Saturday. So we also want to be careful with that. There's just this information that is coming out that's really got you wondering what on earth it is that you're supposed to be doing, right? So we really want to pay attention to that information as it comes out. There is this real energy of changing perspective. What is important for you? What routines do you need to change to account for what's going on in the world around us? Look out for that big, surprising information that could come out, or conversations that could come up over the weekend. But overall, this weekend, it's a nice energy, but it's also like a shocking aha, I need to make some changes and do something different kind of energy as well. So for the cards, the bottom of the deck is the World card. So we can all feel those cycles closing, the Mercury retrograde cycle Leo season is closing. Venus is moving out of Cancer. So we're in that very end of these cycles, closing and new things beginning here. But the energy of the weekend is the Eight of Cups, that leaving behind emotional attachments and kind of like a spiritual journey, a healing journey kind of energy, where you just really feel like it's time to start moving on and doing things differently, and maybe being a little more cognizant of your emotional health as you're doing so. What we are focusing on is the Three of Cups. Have the fun. Go have lunch with your friends. Go have a barbecue. Go, just do something fun with the people that are important to you this weekend. What we're avoiding is death. We don't want to make any major changes, okay? We don't want to make any major transformations because, again, we are moving into eclipse season. A lot more information is going to be coming out. There's a lot more things happening. We're still not seeing the whole picture, so we still don't want to completely uproot our lives and make any major transformations here. So let's pull some clarifiers here for our Eight of Cups. Clarifiers for the Eight of Cups. We have the Nine of Cups. I kind of have some collective predictions of maybe mass worker walking out, collective general strikes, things like that coming up maybe with this eclipse, a little bit after the eclipse. So this might be something that's also on your mind here as well, because we have the Nine of Cups and the Three of Swords here as the clarifiers for that Eight of Cups. There's a lot of heartbreak going on. We're all mourning something, right? We're all mourning what we thought. We're mourning what our dream was, what our wishes were, right? Because we're all seeing that what we were promised growing up, what we thought we could have in this world, is not there anymore. And we have to make some kind of adjustments with this. And that's kind of a mourning process. It hurts to realize that we're not going to have the things that we were promised. And we're realizing that we've got to do something, and we've got to make some changes and maybe move away from that and think differently moving forward. Clarifiers for the Three of Cups. We have Strength and Five of Swords. Ooh, okay. Actually, I have High Priestess on the bottom as well. So that Saturn-Neptune conjunction, right, where things are being revealed, you're starting to see where people were a little more shady, and maybe you've called them out on it, or they're getting called out on it, and they're trying to double down on things like that. Enjoy the time with your friends, but remember what I said yesterday about how you just need to have the boundaries, right? So you just need to have the boundaries against this shady, gossipy, people running their mouths, trying to tear other people down kind of energy. You can still go hang out with your friends, right? But just have those boundaries, stand up to it, speak up against it, and say, hey, this is not okay. You don't have to actually cut them off. All you have to do is exert your boundaries and stay strong in those boundaries, even if you feel like you're out of place doing so. They will fall off on their own, okay? But with the High Priestess on the bottom, it's telling me that, those secrets are coming out, your intuition's kicking, you're getting a lot of information, right? So again, just have the boundaries. That's all you got to do. Let them do with it what they're going to do, okay? Clarifiers for the Death card. This kind of starting to make me feel a little bit like having those boundaries is finally getting the other people to realize that maybe it's time that they change, right? Instead of us just cutting them off. Maybe that's it. Okay, clarifiers for Death. We have Eight of Swords and the Lovers and the Ten of Wands. So we are avoiding any major transformations. So things are happening fast. Again, we're moving into eclipse season. Things are just really coming in quickly. That Saturn retrograde in Aries has been some instant karma type of energy, right? So things are happening very fast. And maybe you've got some relationships here, whether it's friendships or romantic or whatever, that maybe have been a little heavy here, right? They've been feeling a little heavy. And having those boundaries is going to start showing these people where maybe they need to pick up the slack. It doesn't mean you need to end the relationship. It just means that they need to hear where they are slacking, okay? So it's not a write people off kind of weekend. Yeah, 9 of Wands on the bottom. Just those boundaries. That's all that's about. Just having those boundaries, realizing that things are changing, and you don't have to cut people off. You just let them know that what you're okay with, what you're not okay with, and let them do with that what they will.